What's up, guys? How's it going? Just want to welcome you all to episode 7 of the Angry Advocate podcast. My name is Ed. I am the guitar player for Death's Hand and the owner and operator of Advocate Media.
And hi, everyone. Welcome back. I am Ash. I am the photographer and owner of Angry Ginger Photography. I am so excited for our episode this week. We have two guests this week. One of them is one of my absolute best friends. We have MADYSON Coburn and Brandon McCarthy on the show.
Hi.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Good.
Good. Yeah, super fun to have you guys on. This is really cool. Definitely a little, it's really good to have, I think, videographers and photographers on now. Like we did some band members and stuff like that, and now we kind of get to go into a little different side of things, which is kind of, I think, what Ashley and I really wanted to do. Was kind of the band thing's fun, and we're going to keep doing that, but it's nice to kind of bring in a different part of the scene that everybody sees all the time, especially with just how many photographers are out there these days, and it's just really great to have you guys on. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time to come and do this episode today.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys bringing us on board.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So let's see here. We've got some fun questions we're going to talk to you guys about today, and we've got a couple of videos here that we're going to go over. So we've got one video from you, Brandon, and looks like another video from you, Maddie, which is cool. I think we're going to dive into Brandon's video first. Brandon, do you want to give a little, intro to this video and what this is going to be that we're going to watch?
Yes. So this video that we are presenting is my first film I've ever made. I worked very hard to. So what we are seeing is the trailer to this film that I've worked on. It took about 6 to 8 months to work on.
Oh, that's super cool. All right, cool. So, and this trailer's been out already, correct?
Yes, this trailer's been out for some time. It's basically post-apocalyptic alien invasion.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool. All right, I'm excited to take a look at this. So let's throw this up here and take a look and a listen.
If there are any remaining survivors out there, my name is Noah. Me and my friend Sean have been in these woods for about a year now.
Listen, Noah. I'm scared as you are to leave this place. But if we don't get moving, sooner or later, they'll find us. Run!
Nice.
Thank you.
That's cool. That's really cool. So what made you decide for that specific genre? Was there anything that kind of behind it, or?
So So I have a friend group where we're all basically starting filmmakers, and we're just trying to put ourselves out there. And we all started with post-apocalyptic alien invasion, but we all have our different takes on it, which is cool because it's like it's not like a copy and paste of each other's projects. It's like what were we able to bring? It's almost like a teacher assigns a classroom a topic, but everyone has to do their own adaptations of that topic. That's basically what we did. And for me, it's as like it's as big of a step as it is to them. So that's what brought me to do that. It was originally, but then I got my buddy Jared on board with that. So it was really cool.
Nice. That's really cool. That's really cool. And so like I'm assuming everybody else who was in that group has posted like other like pretty much the same thing you did, like I'm assuming, right? Like little
Yeah.
trailers for theirs too. That's really cool.
I have a pattern where I want to release a teaser trailer and then an official trailer. I feel like if you post more than that, you're kind of just selling your project without even really selling it.
Yeah.
And it's, to me, it's redundant. So but like me and my friends, we also have like a similar pattern to that. But sometimes one of us just post one trailer and call it a day.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. So what's the total length on the actual video that you have?
I believe it's 55 minutes long. So it's very close to an hour. It was originally supposed to be 20 minutes, which was crazy because the script is not that big, but we made it work. And there's this saying that we have where we say it's as long as it needs to be
right
for any project we work on, because we want to be like, oh, we want to keep it short, whatever. But it's like if you try to force that mindset, you're not going to create a good project if you limit yourself.
Right. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's true. Yeah. That's really
It's
cool.
like
Yeah.
the same thing with these episodes. It's like, yeah, we want it to be around an hour, but like how conversations go and just the flow of things, like you can't just like dead set, like, nope, that's the end of conversation. Have a good week. Like you can't do that.
Yeah. We try to let it go, as much as we possibly can. And, I think, the longest video we have is like an hour and 20 minutes or an hour and 30
I think
something
first
minutes.
with Rob was an hour 40, but that was again like finding the flow, finding like how it can go.
And then like the last one was like 50 minutes or 47 or something. You know what I mean? So it's like it's kind of a wide range. And it's funny too, because when you ask those questions, sometimes like some people, it feels like you're like with the last one, I felt like we were getting really good, solid, fairly lengthy answers. And then I look at it and it's like, oh my God, it's only been 40 minutes. Like, wait, what? Like,
Like he was really good at like hitting the nail on the head, like with the questions and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's definitely that type of thing where it's like, you're right. You don't want to limit yourself, but you also don't want to put, it's that like the painting mentality. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
When are you done? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, because you can overdo it, but you also don't want to underdo it. So it's like that middle ground, like where,
when you watch this movie, you definitely see that, because I have moments where I'm like, I'm adding too much of this, but then like when I finish it and watch it, I'm like, oh, I didn't add enough of that. And it's like, you live and learn. We're human, we make mistakes.
Exactly. I mean, I definitely think that like, and especially you have a specific vision, and you're like, I want this video, this whatever, to go in this certain direction. And sometimes you can kind of put your blinders on and you get to where you want. And then, I mean, I've had that sometimes, even with Des Hanton, we've recorded music. Like I feel like we're in our own little echo chamber. And then once we release it and I kind of sit on it for like a month or two, it's like, oh yeah, okay, that maybe I don't like that part, or maybe this part should have been different, or you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Especially when people on the outside give you their opinion, and it's like, this part should have been a little bit longer, or this part should have been shorter, or it would have been cool if you did this. But at the end of the day, like, you kind of have to be proud of your own stuff, and like you said, you live and you learn. You know what I mean? Like, it's
and I think the beauty of it too is that whether it followed the vision or not, it's your like aesthetic, your project alone. So like, for that film, that wasn't my vision entirely, but at the same time, I just created my own aesthetic without even like knowing I was doing it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That's super fun. It looks super cool. I mean, I really like how it was shot. Definitely like felt, the tense parts in that, you know what I mean? So it was like it definitely portrayed a kind of, I think, like what you wanted it to, you know what I mean? So
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
definitely really fun. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's super cool. Cool. Let's jump into Maddie's video. So this is Maddie. If you want, you can explain what the video is that we're gonna watch next.
So I did this music video last year for Fish Face. I actually dropped it like the day before my birthday. It's Fish Face's song "Spit on Your Grave." It was half filmed at Sacred Profane in Portland, Maine, and then the other half was at the Monkey House in Winooski, Vermont. So they had like a little like weekender thing going on. So I was like, oh, I should just shoot a music video for them because they didn't have any music videos out yet. So this was not just like my first time doing like a hardcore music video. This was their first music video. So it was pretty cool.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah. All right. Let's throw this up here and watch this. All right.
There's nothing left for you. You will get what you deserve. And I will step back and watch you burn. You fucking pussy! Fuck you!
Nice.
Your old
That
logo.
was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, because I remember that was who was all on that bill? I know we were, right? So it was Death's Hand, Fish Face. I think it was a DHS.
Yep, DHS. God, I don't remember who else was on that
I can't
show.
remember who I can't remember who else was on that show, but
The
yeah,
first band was really good too, and I can't remember who it was. I don't think
Yeah.
I've seen them since then.
yeah,
But that was my first like main like hardcore show, and I knew like main shows go really hard. So
yeah,
I was like, all right, this will be interesting.
yeah.
And
The guy
I was
like grabbing the post and just like pulling himself up. Yeesh.
I was like, it's like a jungle out here.
Yeah. Yeah. That especially that spot. Sacred Profane's
Love it
always
there.
a lot of fun to play. It's really cool.
Where is that venue?
It's in Biddeford.
Oh,
Um,
I said Portland.
yeah, no, it's okay. It's
Close
in
enough.
it. Yeah, it's close. It's very close. Yeah, it's like a little like bar restaurant that's the upstairs is awesome. I love that. Like it's so cool.
The ceiling's
it's
so low.
Yeah, and I think they're done doing shows there. I could be wrong. But they're I know like Gumscab has been doing shows at Mulligan's, which is like
Yeah.
which is like very, very close. So
Yeah.
I think they've started an SVU, I should say, is doing shows there. But I'm pretty sure that's where they're doing the shows now, is Mulligan's instead of Sacred Profane. I could be wrong. Maybe I know there's a show there, or there was a show like a couple weeks ago there, or it's either was there a couple weeks ago or is going to be in a couple weeks. I can't remember, but I saw some flyer, but it wasn't the SVU guys booking there, so I'm not quite sure.
What happened?
Yeah, what happened? But yeah, I'm hoping they do. But if the shows are switching over to Mulligan's, that's fine too, because I've seen a couple videos of gum scab shows there, and they've been crazy, and it's like secret work shows there and stuff. So
I've been to those.
yeah, yeah, those are crazy. Those are crazy. But yeah, that was the first time I'd seen Fish Face, and I was super excited to play with them. And they're just, I don't know, they're fun. They're a lot of fun. And I don't know the lead singer's name. I don't know her first
Evie.
name, but what is it?
Evie.
Yeah, she's intense. She's
Yeah.
really intense.
Mhm.
It's yeah. I remember the first time like watching them, I was like, okay, this is rad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, well, it's just cool because there's a lot of female singers right now in hardcore, and I just think that's really awesome. Like, it just, especially locally, I'll say locally, like obviously, like, you know, in the mainstream there's you know, a decent amount, but it's just really cool to see, you know, a lot in the New England area.
Yeah.
And a lot of really good ones too, like the girl from Slam Witch is amazing. They're not really hardcore, but she's amazing. Fish Face, who else? I'm blanking right now.
Wisdom and War.
Yeah, Wisdom War. Yeah. So it's really cool to see a lot of like really powerful, like, you know, women, like, and you can tell like they have a lot of confidence in themselves, and it's just really cool to see that. Really, really cool to see that. So that's awesome. I'm hoping we can play with Fish Face again soon. That would be fun. I would love doing that. For sure.
Yeah. If you're not doing anything next weekend,
Where is it?
it's Peabody, Mass.
Oh, okay, not bad.
Yeah.
Who are they playing? Who are they playing with?
It cut out.
Oh, you're good. You're back on. I can see you.
Okay. I was like, what happened?
Yeah, you're good.
We're back.
It happens.
It'd be like that.
That's rad. Cool. All
But
right.
yeah,
So
this Saturday is Maddie's birthday show.
Yeah.
What bands do you have on that, Maddie?
So we have Greylock, Voluntary Victim, I Should Seek Help, Mortis, Devitalized, and Fish Face. And there is
Nice.
a secret set, and I can't disclose who that secret set is.
nice. That's cool.
I don't wanna
That'll
give
be
it-
fun.
Very excited.
That will be fun. Awesome. Yeah, let's see. Let's do this. Bam.
So
All
you
right.
can-
So yeah, you want to go into some questions?
Absolutely.
right,
So
let's
first
do it.
one is going to be for Maddie. This is, I know, a very wide question, but just whatever one sticks out first. What's your most memorable show that you've ever photographed?
So I guess the first big show I took photos at was the Word Alive and Starset up in Portland, actually, at Aura. So this was in 2021. So this is probably the first year of shows being back and whatever. I had VIP, and I bought my VIP way in advance, and it was me and my friend Hannah, and I reached out to the vocalist of the Word Alive, and I'm in a big Discord group with them, and I was like, hey, I'm like, do you guys have a publicist or anything? Could I take photos of you guys? What's the deal? This is my first time taking photos for a big band. And he was like, no, but you're on the list, so you're good. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I showed up, and the lighting was pretty good. It was wild because there was a decent amount of people there, and usually they give you the 3-song rule, but there they didn't care. So I was like,
That's awesome.
so I stayed in front of the barricade the whole time.
Absolutely.
And Telly, the vocalist, he took I recorded a video, and he took my phone and just started running around with it, and I was like,
Nice.
okay. And I've been able to take photos for them quite a few times now.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
No, having it be one of your favorite bands and getting to have that experience on top of it, that's awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah. And was it like really nerve-wracking for you, like for the first time, or was it just kind of like not really? Was it just kind of easy for you to kind of just move right into it?
I was a little nervous because like I've never been to this venue before. Like if it was like the Palladium, I'd be like, all right, at least I'm aware of like what it looks like. Or I had no idea.
Yeah.
I was like freaking out. I mean, I didn't have the camera I have now back then. I rented it, and I rented like a 24 to 70. And I was just like hoping for the best. And I got some pretty good shots from that show, and I was like stoked. And I have one of Telly, their vocalist, just like right in front of me, just like absolutely screaming into the
Nice.
mic, and I was like, that's a money shot right there.
Yeah,
was
that's
really
awesome.
proud.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aura is a really cool venue.
Mhm.
It's a lot of fun. My old band that I was in that I played drums with, we opened up for All That Remains at Aura. So that was really cool. Yeah, it was weird that there was two local openers. It was us and then Great American Ghost. So
Oh, that's
yeah.
crazy.
So
Two
and what's
local openers.
yeah, it was so cool. So like the way they had it, you've obviously seen the stage.
Yeah.
So we were on half the stage and then Great American Ghost was on the other half. So it was like we were
Oh, the
set up
bands.
here. Yeah, so there was like two drums set up here. So my drums were here and Great American Ghost drums were here. And then we shared cabs. So we shared cabs with Great American Ghost, I believe. And like we stacked our heads on top. So like our heads were on top of their heads. And like so it was like we played, took our heads off. They just like replaced the cables in the back to their cabs. Excuse me. And then like everyone in my band just like grabbed their guitar, grabbed a cymbal stand or like whatever, and moved off stage. And it was the fastest turnaround time. Like it was crazy. And then Great American Ghost played. I can't remember who I think there was one other band with All That Remains. It's like All That Remains, someone else, and then there was like two local openers, which was super cool. But that venue's fun. I could
Mhm.
see how it could be a pain kind of shooting that because that front area is kind of small.
It is really small. And there was
Yeah.
me and one other guy. He was this like older guy, and he was very, very nice. Like he was like, if you need me to move, like just push me. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna push you. Like
Just
how
push
freaking
me.
small it is. Like,
Yeah.
but like I was definitely tripping over like the barricade, like the
Yeah.
metal things, and I was like, yeah, this is tough. But
Yeah.
and like I got to like go upstairs and everything, and like see like the whole thing. But
Yeah.
I just stuck to downstairs. I was just like, you know what, I'll just stay here. It's fine. But when Starset came on, they had, like how some bands do that like thing where they have like they drape like, I don't know, it's like a sheet of some sort like along the stage and then drop it. Yeah, so they did because they projected something onto it and then like dropped it. So I had to like move and like let them
Right.
do that and then go in for the second song. So I was like, oh, that's fine. But like from where I was standing, because I had friends there, they like stood like second row. So I was like, oh, I just hold my camera like up here. We're good.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
a really cool experience though.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And then second part of my question, Maddie, how long have you been a photographer? Like when was that show? What were you doing for photos like prior to that?
Oh boy. So I mean, I guess The Word Alive was like the second big band I shot for, because I mean, back then this band was, they were big, but they weren't like as big as The Word Alive. I was at the Middle East in 2018 with my dad, and my dad doesn't. I love my dad. My dad doesn't go to these things, and this was like July, and it was hot. This is before Middle East had AC. Because it was horrible. So it was a bunch of local openers, like The Worst of Us, Saving Vice, and a couple other bands. I don't even remember. But the headliner was Secrets. So I got to bring my camera in, and I had like a Canon T6i, like pancake lens, like I don't even remember what it was. So I got asked to shoot that by, I think, The Worst of Us and Saving Vice. I don't even remember. this was back when you didn't need a photo pass. So,
Yeah.
and this was like when I was freshly out of high school. I graduated in 2018. And I was doing photo stuff like in school. Like we were doing music videos, like portraits, all that stuff. So this was like my first like real gig. And one of my old friends like got me to go to local shows. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be going to these. But I don't know this person anymore. Anyway, but that show, it was amazing. There were so many people. I was right up front. I did not move that whole time. I didn't care what came towards me. There was one stage driver, and I moved. And actually, it was funny because when that kid stage dove, my dad walked in and he looked at me. He's like, absolutely not.
We are leaving.
Back out. And it was really hot in there. It was probably like 85 degrees in there.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah,
but it was so worth it. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
But that show with Star Set and the Word Alive was in 2021. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. A little bit of time, little bit of stuff under your belts. That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Brandon, first question. How long have you been doing cinematography stuff?
Oh man. So like, I would say like, because this has like 3 different chapters in my life. First chapter goes back to school. So I would say my senior year of school, I was in digital media. So I was on a camera crew doing like the student news stuff. So like I was behind that. We also did side projects in our digital media class, so I could learn how to use a camera, make projects in Premiere Pro. But then and outside of school, I worked on like animated short films, also known as machinimas. It was very popular on the GTA 5 community platform. And that's where I kind of like started my like debut of like cinematography and whatnot. And I'm self-taught like 90%. Like the 10% came from school, just to learn what a medium shot was, what a wide angle shot was, and like all these other like stupid things that I would know that no one else would know.
Right.
But GTA Machinimas was like my biggest thing that I like learned from. And then 2023, I started making these like cinematic shorts, but I only made these cinematic shorts when I was in like when I was feeling down or whatever. Because for some reason, when I was in my feelings, I'm like, oh, let me create something cinematically sad. And then I did that, and I'm like, okay, now let me try to do this in a more professional form. And so, it was kind of a learning curve. I learned how to color grade in that process of 2023. I learned how to really create proper sequences and not just put random clips together. And I really tried to get comfortable with my face on, the screen, because, there's some moments where I'm like, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And then, that was a learning curve to accept myself and to really also learn how to make the effort of like exposure, composition, and just like looking at like what each shot should mean. Why is it shot like this? What are we focusing on? And I would say collectively, I've probably been a camera cinematographer for 2 solid years. But collectively for my life, I would say like 5 to 6 years.
Nice. And what do you think? How do I explain this? With the stuff that you learned from when you were in high school and kind of the stuff that you've learned like on your own, what do you think like really pushed you to kind of get into this and do this a little bit more, like I guess more seriously? Was it like you've always had the drive and want to do this, or was it some of the stuff that you learned in school that kind of pushed you towards that?
So even in high school, I did not know what I was good at because I'm using school equipment. So I'm like, this is broke people stuff. Like,
right.
It didn't like, I wasn't attached to it. The editing I was attached to, because like, oh, I always wanted to be like a YouTube content creator or something like that. So it was like, oh, this is something I should know. So I kept it with me. And it wasn't until 2022 where I kind of I mean, I was always into like phone photography, and like I always tried to use portrait mode on my XR or like my iPhone 12 Pro, and I was trying to get photo shoots of people, be like, oh my god, depth of field, like it's cool.
Right,
Um, so like essentially like I'm sorry, I lost track of the question. What
That's
was
fine. It's just like, was it did you always have this drive to kind of do stuff
okay?
and create stuff on your own, or did some of that school stuff really push you and propel you to that, or was it just kind of like, I just need this high school stuff as a stepping stone. I need to figure out the small, easy stuff first, and I'm just gonna progress and push myself from there.
Yeah, so like it was really more of my friends who kind of helped push me because I always thought you could do everything with an iPhone, and then they were like, no, you need a camera, you need a lens, you need
Yeah.
equipment, you need to do better. And I'm like, bet. So
Right. Yeah.
that's like I was like, you know what? I got a camera, and then I'm like, oh crap, I gotta actually like teach myself this. And so I spent hours, like I've studied almost every camera that's you're able to buy at this point, and I've like tried to like really like I basically suffered a lot of this knowledge so my friends wouldn't have to suffer this knowledge. So I basically just like brutally put myself through this so that way I didn't have to struggle.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like maybe like the summer of 2023 where I was like, all right, I gotta make a move now. I gotta stop trying to do these little like lessons with myself and actually be and get comfortable and show everyone around me what I can really do. Because these
Yeah.
little cinematic shorts I made, they were just like, oh, okay, just another video. Like, no, I wanna show I want to show you what I can really do. And that's when I made that film.
Nice.
And like I always want to be either a director or actor, voice actor. That's my like that's what I wake up for. And having these cameras really kind of help me not educate myself, but also push me to that goal. There's that saying like fake it till you make it, but it's like it's more in the sense of if you keep doing something you like doing long enough, you're gonna eventually meet your goal.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I think it's really funny that you said like you know, I'm gonna I'm gonna take the super goddamn hard road. And like that I I relate to that heavily with doing the last Death's Hand music video all on my own. Like that was the most brutal thing. Like
Oh, yeah.
I hated it and loved it at the same time. Like I think I downloaded like DaVinci and was like, I'm gonna teach myself how to do this. And like I did like the whole music video in 12 hours, and it was the worst 12 hours of my life. Like it sucked. I hated it. Like
It's funny you say that because like I got into DaVinci last year, and
yeah,
because I was on Premiere Pro, but I had the cracked version, so I was like, I can't keep doing this. I got to get something serious. And DaVinci was like the program. Everyone's like, you can color grade better, and I'm like,
yeah,
so wait, how big of a difference is it? And I got it. I was
yeah,
like, wow, it's kind of
yeah,
great.
yeah. It's crazy. It was like, and for me, it was like, you know, I wasn't looking like I wanted to learn as much as I possibly could and do the best I could. And it's like, I mean, I did it in 12 hours and then did some like edits afterwards. But like that first 12 hours of like teaching myself how to cut this, how to color grade this, how to do this, like it was like I woke up and I remember literally getting in front of the computer right where I am right now and like going, yeah, I'm gonna message Ian and I'm gonna have him do it. And then like I messaged him and he was like, yeah, I have no time. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. Like so I went for it, and it's funny, but I would say that it's definitely super rewarding when you
Oh,
like
absolutely.
when you really put yourself through it brutally. It's like I'm gonna go all the way through this. I'm gonna do this, and no matter how much it pains you to do it, right? Like, you come out better. You know what I mean? Like,
No, yeah. Like I'm not
and
even a professional. Like I'm still learning by like I would say the year because like there's only so much you can learn in a month or even like 5 months, and it's like
yeah,
I still for what I've learned making falling lights, I had to get the full version of DaVinci down the road. But like for
yeah,
what I did for the free version, I was like, okay, this is sick, but like I need the full version now. So like
yeah,
dropping to $300, people need to realize this is gonna be the best investment of your life of
Yeah.
just dropping the 300 on DaVinci, and I still have to learn how to properly use Diffusion tab because
Yeah.
VFX is not my thing. I'm actually
Yeah.
gonna pay someone for my next project for that, but like
Yeah.
for the time being, like I try to teach myself, but just I gotta stick with just the basics of color grading and maybe I think it's like depth mapping or something like that, where you could
Yeah.
like really work on the color grading and to where it's not just a flat profile, it's actually like colors in the background that are like manipulated, and you could I think there's a lighting setting that you could use too that's really cool. But it's
Yeah.
like it's a learning curve. It takes time.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's just really cool to hear you say that it just like, you do if it's a labor of love, but a lot of those times like it's going to be difficult, it's going to be
Yeah.
very difficult, but
And
until
totally
like you
totally
learn.
worth it.
Yeah,
This is
until you
someone
learn
both ways.
everything. The amount of times like I've reached out to Maddie and being like, this is taking me forever, and she's just like, dude, it's just this button. And I'm just like, the amount of time I've spent, and that's like just the difference is like the more you learn and everything. And I think like you putting yourself like full into it, like learning all the ins and outs, so that like the people at like me can learn more than in the like the long run and everything. Like it's
Yeah.
for that exact reason.
That's funny.
No, yeah, and like I don't know. There's something about like, and I came from Flamora too, so like I was one of those people. I came well. There was one I even forgot the program. Doesn't even matter, but it was like like it wasn't as good as Flamora. It was actually worse. But then like I went to Flamora, then I went to like Crack Premiere, and then I was like, all right, now I'm completely sold on DaVinci, and it's like to go through these stepping stones of like trial and error and realizing like this is the road I eventually had to go to. It takes that mentality of like, all right, I just got to do it. I can't just sit down and just like think about it. I got to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's awesome. I think that's the best way to learn. It's the way I learned how to do stuff on guitar, I learned how to do stuff on drums. Like the same thing like with photography, like I asked Ashley a bunch of information. I asked Maddie a bunch of information, and they like you guys gave me what I needed to like just kind of push myself. And like I mean, I haven't shot a show in a while, and it kind of sucks. But having that information and at least being okay, I have a starting point, and then you can push yourself from there. And it's the same thing. Like I've got DaVinci now, I just have to push myself from there. And I think that's the most rewarding part is kind of doing the struggle and learning on your own. And really kind of finding what you're made of a little bit, I think, with the editing
exactly.
and all that stuff. So
It's beautiful. I love it.
yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So Maddie, who are some of your favorite local bands right now?
There's so many.
That's why we love this question.
Yeah. So for me, it's obviously like Fish Face, Nailed Shut, Slamwich, Devitalized. God damn, there's just so many.
Yeah.
Gumscab. I love Gumscab. It's but Clock Out, like Wisdom of War.
Everybody's loved.
literally. And I mean, there's like a couple bands that they're not local, but like for them, they're local places like Not Enough Space from Florida. Like they're amazing. They are so good. Them and like Southpaw.
Florida seems insane.
Yeah. And he's from there. And he doesn't know any of these bands.
Yeah, because
he doesn't get it. No.
I don't
He doesn't get it.
I don't get it.
I gotta pull up my phone so I can like.
I mean, I went to Back Booth in Orlando and I got my face knocked on my 15th birthday. It's the best I could get out of it.
Yeah.
That's pretty legit.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, of course, Rose Lane and Death's Hand. I listened to your album a couple times. And I really liked it.
Thanks.
You're welcome. But I think that's all I got because I'm blanking. Hate Still Burns.
Oh,
Yeah.
You like Hate Still Burns.
Yeah.
oh, they're sick.
Yep. Yeah, that's why we love asking this question, because like there's definitely some overlap, but there's definitely a lot of like non-overlapping bands. You know what I mean? So just that's
Yeah.
why it's just a solid question to ask, because, and I'm sure the people who have watched previous episodes and who will watch this episode have probably heard of most of these bands, but maybe not. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where it's really cool to kind of just see where people's preferences lie.
Yeah. And
And it's
I started bringing him to local shows like a little bit after we started dating. So like I don't know if like any like bands that like stick
Well,
out to you.
well, my first show with Maddie was
Was that at
Sammy's.
Sammy's.
And I don't remember. I'm pretty sure Gumscat was there. Gumscat was there. And Dead Necessities was there. I think that's that's the name. Dead Necessities. I listened to their song 6 on like repeat sometimes, and it's such a good song. But it's like that was my first band I really photographed too, and I have posted on my page. And I try to like keep up with their songs, but when you start following more bands, it's like, oh, okay, this is kind of hard to manage than I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, it can get crazy for sure. There's no doubt about that. That's funny. Cool. Brandon, next question. What is your favorite thing about creating films?
Is that I can make whatever I want. It's essentially it. So my slogan to my vintage productions work is turning your creativity into reality. And I've always stuck with that, whether it's like I usually, for me to get a grasp of what I really want to make, sometimes I take inspiration from like actual films, and then I'm like, all right, how do I take the concept of this and make it not mine, but also like what can I make similar to it, that I want to make something that has the same emotions, essentially, not create the same scene, but like it's inspiration. All films have inspiration. If you watch, so I've watched a film called Citizens Kane that was basically the birth of film, and every angle that's in that film is what drew every film after that. The angles, the shots, and the compositions and everything like that. And it's truly like it's also almost inspiring too, but it's also like for me personally as a director, I value character development and character background over the plot. You could have, because like realistically my film is a very basic plot, but like it's the characters in it that really make it, that make you follow it, be like, okay, what makes these people tinker? Like it's, if I'm watching an Avengers film, I'm like, okay, these guys are superheroes, they got pretty cool backgrounds, but it's like they just make things blow up. And
Right.
I think it's fun. I like it. They're cool. I cried a few times, but like it's at the end of the day, like one film I truly believe it's the best film of the decade, and people can hate on it all they want, but Oppenheimer is such a great film to me that
Yeah.
I truly, everything about it, like their visual effects were so practical that it looks like CGI, and I want to master that to my degree. Like, if my room was like maybe like a little bigger, I'd actually turn this film into as like special effects studio a little bit, just to like help me like get to that point. And it's almost like I want to become everything that's in a film crew, but like you just can't. You're limited. My brain can only go so far, and that's why I love being in my film group, because everyone has their own limitations that exceed higher than others, and it's like really cool. It's like, wow, I didn't think about that. I can't believe you came up with that. That's really cool.
Yeah. I was about to say, like, I love movies. Like, I'm the type of guy that, like, I go to Walmart, I go through the $5 bin, and I buy every possible movie I could buy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, and I'm a
It's like
huge
a claw
Western.
machine.
Yeah, I'm a huge Western fan and war movie fan. So like those are like spaghetti Westerns are like my favorite. Like I've always been into those. And I like the action movies and I like all that stuff. It's fun, but I I think it's really cool how you said that. It's like, you know, you can have this like fairly, I don't want to say simplistic plot, but you can have this like
Yeah.
plot. It's like, oh, this is what it is, blah blah blah, and then once you actually add those characters or add specific characters, they're the one that manipulates that plot to become good. You know what I mean? So it's like the characters are really a very important part, obviously,
Yes.
of film, because like it gives you that either you can relate to them, you can love them, you can hate them. There's so many intricacies in like, people where it's like, oh, like, you go back and watch a film and you're like, oh, like that person was like trying to manipulate this person the whole time. But like the first time you watched it, you didn't catch that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's like,
It's
as
like
you
the
watch,
body language of them too, and it's so like it's cool. I love rewatching films after like seeing it like the first time.
Same.
It's just like it's cool to see those little details because it's also like, especially with the soundtrack too, sometimes you don't realize how present a soundtrack is in certain scenes. Like the villain's theme is at the beginning of the movie, but you didn't realize until the second watch is like, oh crap, they teased that.
right.
And it's so soundtracks and character developments are like my biggest key points of like my attention towards films. And I've studied enough film to where like I could probably tell you how every shot is made frame by frame. And lighting to me is still a huge thing I have to learn about, but like but to be able to watch something and know how it's crafted, it's more than it's hardworking, talent. And I don't even want to know if I want to call that a gift, because it takes a lot of patience and energy to really like commit to something like that.
Yeah. I was about to say, my buddy Dan, who we're gonna have on the podcast coming up. He's an artist. He draws and does artwork and stuff like that. But he's worked with Kevin Smith. He's worked for Disney. He's literally local. He's 10 minutes down the road from me. And his biggest thing was like lighting. And I'm like, I hate lighting. Like, and he's like,
lighting kind of sucks.
yeah. When I shot the music video, he's like, everything looks super great. He's like, I just would have liked to have seen some of the lighting stuff transfer from thing to thing, like from frame to frame. And then I rewatched it and I was like, damn, I wish you hadn't said that, because now I'm angry. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And like we used no lighting in that music video. It was all just natural light. Like I didn't have lights to, use that or whatever. But it's funny how those, like I said, like there's so many different things that go into making a film, where it's just like the audio, visually how you're shooting the shot. It's crazy to take all that in, and like it's overwhelming sometimes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I wouldn't want to compare filming to drawing, but it's also like you essentially like creating a scene like almost has nothing from the start. You have to make sure like how you envision it. Like the shot, if I want to make the shot moody, I have to have the lighting at a certain angle, or else I'm kind of creating a flat image. And
right,
it definitely, there's a lot of detail that goes into it. And I used to be one of those people who thought, oh, I could get away with no lighting, I could get away with this stuff, I don't need that. Why am I wasting money? And then I'm like, you kind of need it.
You kind of need it. Yeah, for sure. That's funny. Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, that's something I always think about with doing the Jeremy Saffer seminars, like that Maddie has gotten me into, is like learning everything like with lighting since then has just like kind of ruined me, because Maddie and I did our Halloween shoot a few weeks ago, and then like we literally just left and I was like, okay, but I had an idea for this shoot, but we needed to have like lighting from like this side and this side, and it's like, oh, it doesn't like work and everything. But the more you learn, like the easier, yes, it becomes, but the harder it becomes, because your ideas become so much like more vast on like the things that you want to do with a certain shot or photo.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like once you get into lighting, one last thing. I feel like once you get into lighting, your imagination it's like it opens up in like the next level, and it just becomes much more complicated from there.
Yeah, for sure. It's there, like you said, like there's so many layers to things, and like once you open up a door, you're like, damn it, I don't know as much as like, you know what I mean? Like it's like now I have to learn all about this. Like that's why for me, I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. And so like when Dan opened that door, when he's like, oh, I wish you'd done the light, I'm like, you just opened the door. You opened the door I didn't want to open. Like, just keep it shut. I don't want to know about that.
Lock it.
All day. So Maddie, what is your most or one of your most memorable local shows?
Well, so I guess my most memorable would have to be I was in South Carolina for this one. So the benefit show with Fish Face, it was for their friend Lumpy. He got a traumatic brain injury from a skateboarding accident. So all the money they made from doors went to him, like to his medical bills, all that stuff. If I'm right, I think we made like $1,500, and it all went to him. He's out of the hospital now. He's like so much better. He's doing so good. He's going back. He's playing shows again, I'm pretty sure. But that show was insane. This was like my first like house show, like real house show, and there was at least 100 people there. Fitting
Was
into
this the commie house?
Yeah, the commie house. It was a tiny ass like living room. They moved all their furniture outside, and it was hilarious. It was so cool. And then like I was also shooting a music video. It's not out yet. I'm waiting for the song, but I was shooting a music video for Fish Face for one of their newer songs that isn't out yet either. But I was shooting that, and like I thought Maine was bad for like how hard people go. South Carolina's a whole different breed. It was wild. If I stood on the floor, I probably would have been sent to the hospital. Like it was insane.
Yeah.
Like there was this like, I don't know, this dresser of some sort that we were standing on, and I was probably like, I don't know, a few feet high from the ground, so I was safe for the most part. I mean, yeah, people jumped up on it and then jumped off, but no, that show was insane. I got to do my like feature with Fish Face like I usually do, and I got like people kept coming up to me, they're like, what the fuck? Like that was insane. Like I was like, I
That's
don't
super
know what
cool.
is here.
That's awesome.
There was that one, and then I don't know, like any like Sammy's show was just so good. Like the one that we met at friggin' Southpaw playing there. Even Sandwich playing there was wild. Like people were throwing down like crazy. I'm trying to think of another one. The Palladium show last summer with Nailed Shut, Fish Face, Wisdom and War, Hard Target.
My Palladium show.
Yeah, that was my first time ever seeing people like stage dive to Fish Face, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like there was probably like 300 to 400 people in
There's
the
a good
room,
amount of people.
I think. Yeah. And then I remember getting the vocalist of Edict stage dove and kicked me in the head.
Yeah.
And I got a free shirt.
Out.
Yeah. I knocked out. They brought me into the lobby, and then I think Wisdom and War was like about to play, or they were playing. I was also intoxicated. So you know.
Yeah, I'll do it.
So other side of it, Maddie is like half knocked out, and someone grabs me and is just like, I think your friend got hit. And I go out, and she's with security, like kind of getting her like bearings again, and she hears Wisdom and War, and she's like, we're going. I'm just like, Maddie, we need to.
And I like moshed so hard. That was like the hardest I ever moshed, and that just came out of nowhere.
That's awesome.
And then we went up to get merch, and I don't know, I think it was James that said something to Joe from Edict. I think he was like, yeah, someone like got knocked out during your set, and then they gave me a free shirt.
Woohoo.
That's awesome.
I still have it. It's a good shirt.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
That's really cool. Sounds like some fun shows.
And honestly, those are two benefit shows, which is incredible.
Yeah, the benefit
Hard
shows
lessons.
go like stupid hard.
Yeah.
Like, it's those two, and there was another one, I just don't remember what it was. The Arson Fest at the PNI. That was really good. A lot of like bands that didn't play for a while like came back, like Psych Out in multiple pieces. That one was good. The Autism Benefit in April with Kaonashi and Cruel Hand and a couple other bands I don't remember. Risk played. That was a good show. Those two shows were really good. Those were back to back. I was like, I'm not for those. I was feeling it that weekend. But, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Brennan, next question for you. Who are some of your favorite artists right now? And it does not have to be local. So like not necessarily like local bands, just like overall, just music artists in general.
Music artists, she hears too much of this. But I absolutely love The Weeknd. And it's kind of crazy because like I grew up with his music, but it like was never really like she hates it. That's all I play in my car is The Weeknd, like the same like Spotify playlist of like probably like 26 songs. But like no, like I grew up with his music, and there was a point in time where I stopped listening to like certain songs because I was like, let me get into more metal. And I mean, I still have my favorite like deathcore metal bands, and that was like all I listened to was deathcore. But it was like this, like for me, I like songs. I don't like albums. So like I don't know. I'm very picky when it comes to music. That's why like I like The Weeknd because a lot of his music is like really good to me. Granted, he doesn't have like 10 out of 10 albums. I think After Hours is his best album, and and a lot of people don't like it. That's fine. To each their own. But I truly love his color aesthetics in each album and what they mean. And I don't remember if it's the same guy who does his music videos since the beginning, but he had a guy who was constantly doing the cinematography of his music videos. And I always like loved how they look. I was like, wow, these are really, nice. And they're so simplistic, but like there's a lot of imagery he does. And I'm like, I love imagery and just, music videos, photography, and, film in general. Like, I like the idea of less is more. You show me something and there's such an impactful meaning to it. And, his lyrics as well. Granted, he's basically a male version of Taylor Swift, but we don't like to think about that. But to each their own. But I try to branch out to other like, music artists, but I have a very generic playlist. I listen to just everything. It's bad, but it's mainly like I'm really into movie soundtracks the most. I mean, if I really want to say who's my favorite music artist in the film world, it's Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer is just straight. He's beautiful. It would go Hans Zimmer, John Williams, and some other guy. I'll figure it out one day. But
yeah,
but it's essentially those, and I truly love those artists, and will forever talk about them until the day I'm not around.
Yeah,
so
that's cool. Yeah, it's fun because I mean I talk about a couple different genres that I'm huge into reggae, huge into ska, like huge into like a bunch of different genres of music. And it's like I couldn't see myself playing anything but metal. Like if I was to play music, it'd probably be metal. It'd be cool to be in a ska band for like a couple things here and there, to play drums for a ska band. That'd be fun. But like it's always cool. And like, a majority of the people that come on here are going to be more of like the metal hardcore, kind of type people. So it's cool to hear something just a little bit different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
no, yeah,
that's awesome. And like I said, like I grew up, and I've talked about this in previous ones. Like I grew up listening to Motown with my mom. That was like her big thing, was like listening to Motown music. So a lot of like at that time it would have been considered more popular music. Yeah, I mean, I think it totally makes sense that you like The Weeknd with his visuals and like music videos and stuff, because his stuff's like so specific. Like you watch any of his stuff and you're like, oh, okay, Like
Yeah, he gets
very,
it.
very, very, very visual person. You know, like he
No, yeah.
definitely wants to like portray. It's not just like his music and the music video definitely go like completely hand in hand. You know.
Oh yeah, he definitely tells the story not only with the lyrics, but the lyrics match the scenes that he's like portraying too.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I have a very strong love spot in my music soul when it comes to like early 2000s music.
Yeah.
And a little bit of like 90s. Like I think this comes from mom's side of my genes where like I still love music from like Usher, Akon,
Yep.
and like, those that kind of listen. I can't listen to metal all day. I just can't.
You're good. You're good. I
I listen to everything.
same. I listen to a lot of stuff. Maddie's like, you need help.
No, it's just like, oh my god, like there's a certain song she plays like on repeat. I'm like, man, we gotta listen to something else.
Big ass truck.
Absolutely not.
Big ass truck is awesome. They're incredible.
It's actually
But well, your thought on like music videos and just like the meaning behind it. I think one of my least favorite things about watching music videos is it could be a really good music video, but like you said, if it doesn't connect to the song or doesn't like bring everything like full circle and thought, it's kind of like, what's the point?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. If you're
Yeah,
not
for
bothered
sure.
trying to add any imagery to it, it's like, what am I following? Am I supposed to watch this, or am I like just more supposed to listen to it?
Yeah. Well, there's
Exactly.
definitely a lot of music videos where like you listen to the lyrics and the music video has nothing to do with the lyrics. Like
Exactly.
literally nothing to do. Like, and I don't I'm the type of guy, and we talked about this in the podcast. I can't remember who we talked about it, but like I'm not a lyric guy. Like I could give two shits about what the lyrics are. Like I literally don't care.
Nah.
It's not important to me. You know, like for me, it's all about. Yeah, it was Matt. That's right.
It was not.
Yeah, it was Matt. So like I don't care about lyrics. I don't care what you're trying to portray in the song. I literally don't care. As long as it sounds cool to me, I'm game. You know what I mean? Like
I feel that.
I'm not a lyrical person. I don't know why. As long as everything timbre wise and pitch wise and like just flow wise it sounds good, I like the song. You know what I mean? It's so cool that there are those two different sides though. People that are like 110%, what's the meaning? You know, the lyrics go along with how the song goes and they attach to it. And I'm like, caveman shit. That's all
Yeah.
I want to hear. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
It's half and half for me because, like, yes, I do care about the lyrics, and I think this is gonna be what a lot of people see as my hot take, but I have never been the biggest fan of Blink-182 only because the music, yes, is good, but if you listen to the lyrics, it's random words put in a song, and you can't convince me otherwise. And that's like the exact thing of like, there's lyrics that mean things, and then there's lyrics that like just kind of fit.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But
And, like,
obviously, Blink-182 still pops off, so I'm
Yeah.
wrong.
that's valid. And like, for me, I even like listening to The Weeknd, I still like I don't know a lot of his lyrics because I love the rhythm, I love the way it sounds. And hot take, actually not really hot take, it's more of a personal take, I guess. I only listen to metal music for breakdowns. That's it. I can't if it doesn't have a breakdown, you lost me. I don't unless you got like a sick riff in it, maybe.
Right.
But like you might need to add some Subway Surfers to get me watching or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I only really listen to metal for like the breakdowns because like for me that's what gets my like blood pumping. It's like that's really why I get my energy and like and with like I guess you would say hip hop music. Some hip hop music has what's called the bridge where like the vocals kick in, the music kicks in, there's some choir to it, and it's like I feel like I'm like levitating to the song and it's like amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, and so with hip hop, like I like a lot of like older, like underground type stuff, mainly. I mean, I definitely like some of the popular stuff too, but I would say popular stuff in the 90s and 2000s. Nothing that's now really, but that aside, I think like it's funny for me because like with rap, like for me, it's all about the beat and how whatever kind of harmonizes with whatever the vocals are or whatever the beat is and how that interacts. And it's like I don't necessarily listen to the lyrics, but it's how the flow is and how the flow interacts with the beat, or how the flow interacts with whatever instruments are being played in that. That's what I look at. And it's like, or if something rhymes really well, I'm like, oh, that's cool, but I really don't care what they're saying. You know what I mean? Like,
No,
I don't.
exactly. No, exactly. You know,
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, maybe from like a person who would from a person who would um play instruments, you know, like to learn how they did it, I feel like would make me lose motivation, because I'm like, oh, that's really complicated on how they made that, but it sounds so cool. It'd be cool to
Right.
make that. But it's just like there's a lot of effort that goes into instruments and music and like sound design, and it's breathtaking to see hard work really pay off.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's awesome.
Absolutely. So Maddie, not many people know, but what is exciting for me to see is throughout all of your vocal features, you have now become a vocalist yourself. So can you tell me what's going on with Cleansed? Or what are the plans for Cleansed?
So there's not a lot I can say right now, but we're working on stuff. I can tell you that much. We may have a show next month.
Awesome.
It's still in the works. Well, the show itself has been announced, but I can't say like where we are on it or what show it is, but there's a few bands that I had mentioned earlier that are on it.
Nice.
So I'm very excited. And it's in Mass. That's all I can really say about it.
That's cool.
We do have a show before that, but yeah, there's not a lot I can say right now. It was funny because one of my bandmates was at the Torture show today at Middle East and ran into the vocalist of Haywire, and he was like, oh, like send me your stuff, I want to hear it.
Let's go.
So that was cool.
Yeah,
and they're like a big band in
Oh,
Mass too. Like they're going all over the place. Like I
Yeah.
think they just got back from tour, or I think they just got back from tour, like all over the US, which is really cool.
Yeah, I'll say they've played 2 really big hardcore shows up here in Maine. So I
Yeah.
can't remember which one. I think
Fire.
yeah.
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 Is it because Chris Linkovich is from Maine, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool
Yeah.
Hand.
Yep.
Yeah. I really
Yep.
like them. They're really cool.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, we have 2 songs. Well, we have 1 song written, like lyrically wise. The other song, I don't even know what's going on. We all live in like different areas of Mass. One of them lives in New Hampshire, so it's kind of like tough for all of us to get together sometimes. But
Yeah.
The past couple weeks we've been getting together, and we meet up in like Central Mass for practice and stuff. So it's not that bad, but hopefully middle of next year we'll have stuff out. Maybe, I don't
Cool.
know.
Things are cooking.
Cool.
Things are definitely cooking. Like he's like Brandon says, like someone cooked here.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's a good thing to say. Like, it's,
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, to add to that too, like, I mean, you know, whether, you know, I would say they come out with stuff next year, or, you know, not maybe like next winter or something like that. I mean, it's almost like making a film. It will, you know, take as long as it needs to take for, you know, to come out. You come out when you're ready. You know, I didn't come out with my film until I was ready. I didn't, like, you know, fall Sunday. I didn't to really plan it. And, you know, there will always be trial and error. Your first show will never be your best show. And there's always beauty in that, you know, no matter how
Yeah.
you look at it.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, that's the one thing that like Death's Hand literally lives by. Like we've talked about this again on a previous podcast. Like we write for ourselves, nobody else. We take the time, doesn't matter how long it takes to put stuff out. You know what I mean? Like we do it. It's our therapy. right? It's our therapy, it's our passion. Like I don't have any ties to anybody to get music out. I don't you know, like we want to do it for ourselves to have a good time and hope that everybody else enjoys it, right? It's like and so we let things naturally happen. Like if I'm being honest, we haven't Death's Hand hasn't practiced in probably 4 months. I'm not kidding. Like the last couple shows that we've played, never practiced for him. Like
Nope.
that's we just don't. We just don't because we're all super busy. We've got stuff going on. When we can practice, we practice. We're actually a lot of stuff's been going on in the background for us, and so it's like we're now just kind of getting back into like the you know, practice schedules, the starting to write, the, you know, this, that, or whatever. But as long as you have the passion and you have the right people around you, and you take the time to do what you want to do to get it to where you want it. You know what I mean? Like, and like you said, your first show's bad, your first show's bad. Your first show's awesome, your first show's awesome. It doesn't matter. You're going to play more shows. It's about getting up there, having a good time, being like, hey, this is me. You know, this is what we're doing, and we're having a good time. And like I said, like you know, Maddie, I've seen you, you know, do a lot of vocal features at shows that I've been to, and it's like you always have a good time. You always seem to enjoy that, and it's just like, you know, don't let anybody, whether it's bandmates or people outside that, push you to where you like don't feel you're comfortable. You know, like do everything how your band wants to do it, how you want to do it. Take your time. I think that's the most important thing, especially with the stuff that you're passionate about. It's like take your time, do exactly what you want to do. You know, don't release it until you want to release it. We sat on our last record for 6 months. You know what I mean? Like we weren't ready to release it, you know? And it's just that I think that's been the most liberating thing about being in a band for me with this band is just like we just do things on our own time, how we want to do it, when we want to do it. And, you know, we take criticism from people who we want and we change stuff or we don't change it. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. And so I was super excited to see you were in a band. I know you had talked about it. I remember like a while ago, I'd said something like, hey, you want to start something? Like, let's do a little side project or something. And that's so cool that you like decided to push yourself and do that. So,
Yeah.
we'll definitely, once you guys are ready, we'll definitely have to bring you up to Maine and we'll have a show. That'd be rad. That'd be super cool.
No, I'd be so down. Like I love playing up in Maine, and
Yeah, it's fun.
like I know Fish Face and a couple other bands want to go back to South Carolina. We want to go back to the Commie House because it was just so fun.
Yeah.
But that's like a down the line thing. But
yeah.
As for like, this is like my first time like doing like my own thing, not being on a feature with another band. So
Yeah.
like it's something I have to get used to. I have to like learn like how to actually use my vocals because I don't know what I'm doing. Like I'm just here like whatever. If it sounds good, it sounds good. Whatever. But and like I trust all the people that are in my band because I've known them for a long time. So it works.
And like I want to add to that too is like, you know, not only coming from, you know, the music industry, but also as an artist in general. And I think I like to bring the word beauty a lot because there's so much beauty into the passion that we put into. And when it comes to making things that we like, we always overstress ourselves and, you know, almost steer each other off the vision and, you know, forget to stay present. But we have to realize we don't have a boss. We are our own boss. We make the vision happen as we feel like we need to. And, you know, until you have a manager telling you what to do, go at your pace. Who's to tell you how you should do things? You know, you could have fans, you could have people tell you, you know, I like this, I don't like this. That's cool. Constructive criticism. But at the end of the day, you make what you want to make, do what you want to do. And as long as it's positive and you're just trying to bring something into the world that the world's not bringing to you, make it happen.
Exactly. It's the most freeing part of whether it's photography, videography, playing music, drawing, painting, whatever it is, right? Like as long as you know you're doing your stuff at your own pace and you're happy with what you're doing, other people will see that. Be the authentic you that you can be. You know what I mean? And it's like, especially with being a front woman for a band, you bring the authentic you, and people are gonna, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna go, oh yeah, okay, I'll fuck with that. You know what I mean? Like that's I think the most important thing is just be the most authentic you can be. And same thing with the band, like just write how you want to write. Like we don't, as Death's Hand, we don't write to be every other deathcore band. Not that we're reinventing the wheel, we're not. But like we don't write for like, oh, let's do this big breakdown, let's slow this down like this, and like we don't think about that. We literally don't. Like our writing process is so weird and not natural. Like we record a demo, we go into the studio and we lay it down, and then we talk to Evan, and then we switch stuff up here and there, and like it gets built in the studio, really. You know what I mean? Like and if we take information from Evan, because Evan's amazing. Evan Sammons, he's the drummer for Last Chance to Reason. They were signed a long time ago. I don't know if you've heard that band, but amazing drummer. And so like we listen to him. He's the only one who we take information in from, because he's an amazing drummer. His band just was super good. So like we take a bunch of information in from him, and like we kind of take what we want, what he wants, we amalgamate it into one big thing, and then it just is what it is, and if some people don't like it, that's fine. It's the same thing with
you guys.
Exactly. It works. We're happy with it, and we put it out. And if people, are cool with it, awesome. And if they don't like it, that's fine too. Like we're happy with the end product, and that's what's the most important thing, is just
Exactly.
like your end product you're happy with, and you move on from there. So that's super cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I'll take last question for technically both of you, but I'll ask Brandon on this one, and then I guess Maddie can answer afterwards, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Brandon, where do you want your photography / cinematography to go? Like, what are your plans for the future? From where you are, where do you want to go to?
So for what I have already set in stone, from I guess I would call my amateur career, because I do want to try to I'm kind of creating a strong portfolio right now, so that way if I were to apply myself to smaller studios in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, I don't care where it is, as long as it's a studio that has a lot of passion and love behind it. I want to create a foundation to where I'd be like, hey, this is who I am, this is what I've done, this is what I like. Am I good? Not am I good enough, but can I fit into this studio and make a name for myself, and or make some sort of impact to whatever I contribute in the area. And I, for photography wise, I want to shoot as many weddings as I can. I want to shoot as many shows I can, as many and what I mean by shows, I don't mean just like hardcore bands. It could be this person trying to make a name for themselves as like a singer. It could be someone trying to make a name for themselves just playing instruments. Like, I know what it feels like to want to get out of my comfort zone, and I want to be that person to be like, it's scary right now, but I can help you have it not be scary. And I will try to reassure you that it may seem dark and scary right now, but you're doing great. And there's sometimes we don't have someone telling us that like too often, because when you're starting to do something you like, you don't even have an audience yet, so you don't even know. And you can show it to your family. Your family's gonna say it's great. They're gonna say that I love. Your friends are gonna say that I love. But it's like you gotta try to bring it to an audience where they're like, they don't know who you are, so they can say whatever they want. But for cinematography and photography, I really want to, for a committed side of it, I want to be a photographer and cinematographer for Cleanse. I would really love to do that for them, because it'd be really nice to not only get that opportunity for myself, but for them too, so that I don't have the hassle of, let me go hire a someone I know who does this kind of stuff. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's also like it saves that hassle of like scheduling and all that stuff when they could be already busy. And you know, my schedule is as available as it is as I can make it. And but I currently have 3 projects in the works. So I have a trilogy that I'm working on. So I already did the first one. I already have 2 coming out. And then I have Falling Lights 2, you know, in the works. Not really in the works. There's an outline happening, you know, spoiler, but not spoiler.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I, you know, am aiming at in my life right now. Hopefully, you know, this year for me was the year of opportunity, as I tried to stress to Maddie about it. You know, our meetup was not a, you know, it was not a strong, it wasn't just a random coincidence. I feel like it was definitely needed to happen, and I'm very grateful that it happened. And you know, I feel like with that, I definitely want to try. I use this year as a year opportunity because what she's brought me involved in, shows, photography, people I knew, people she knows, and next year is the year of success. I want to succeed. I want to, you know, stop being in the same place I am now, and I want to exceed from there. You know, I'm doing I did a small wedding. I want to do a big wedding. You know, I did a small show. I want to do a big show. You know, I don't want to take a step back. I want to take a step forward.
Yeah, that's super cool. And I definitely think like what you explained is super attainable, but not like that out of reach type goal. Do you know what I mean? Like, because there's some people I think that when they come up with goals for themselves, they're like, they think way too far ahead. You can have the idea of eventually where you want to go. Like it would be really cool to be able to do a bunch of really big weddings. It would be right. But it's like, it's cool that you weren't like, oh, I want to do this super crazy thing and this super crazy thing. You were like, I want to do this. I want to move forward. And it's like those small goals that I'm sure you have bigger goals, you know, 10 years down the road. But the fact that you're thinking about like, hey, next year, which is only a year, you're like, next year, I want to do this. This is totally attainable for me. I can, you know, I can get to this. And if you go past that a little bit, cool. Then that next year, you know, you have that similar like attainable goal. And if you go past that, cool. You know, so it's really, really good. Excuse me. Really good that you have this like, you know, really attainable, very, you know, I don't want to say simplistic, but like, you know, exactly what you want to do. You know, it's like, I know I'm moving forward, and that's the biggest thing for me too. Just in life in general, you know?
Yeah. And I'm not asking to be like in like Warner Brothers Studios or anything like that. You know, by 30, 35, I would say 35 would be the goal. I want to like at least be in a strong studio where like I'm definitely putting in the works to make a name for myself. And like, not just like my 20s is where it's like I'm really trying to make a name for myself, but like my 30s where it's like, I know this guy Brandon, he's featured in X, Y, and Z. Right. He's the guy that I think will be fit for this project. And you know, I also do voice acting on the side too. So my buddy Orange Domino Studios, he always has me involved in his projects because I'm like that certain person who fits a certain character. And you know, he always refers to me and anything that involves our work, and he's truly someone I value and I appreciate, and you know, I've collaborated with as of recently this year.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Maddie,
It's my turn. So I don't know. It's like I wanna go on tour, you know, like every, you know, photographer would, like in the scene, like how we are. And like I've been given so many opportunities where I could have, but there's just something holding me back where I was just like, I'm not ready yet. And that's okay. So I'm hoping by like I got offered to go on one next, like beginning of next year, but I can't because I get all my vacation time back from work and I don't want to use it all like right when I get it back. So it's like I told them like I can do weekenders because I'm off weekends, so like that works. I would only have to take maybe a day or two, like on Friday and a Monday off. Like that's fine. Like I'll do that. But like I want to save all that time because I only get it for the year and then it restarts the following year. So there's that. But as long as I just want to keep getting my name out there to the point where it gets to the right person, basically.
Yeah.
So it's like if someone who's we like your stuff, like we want you to, you know, come with us and like shoot for them, whatever. It's fine with me. Like, and I guess like I do want to at least in the future, not like next year, but like down the line, I want to open like a at home like studio so I don't have to keep renting things. At least it'll save money somehow because you know this economy, it's like everything's just so expensive.
Yeah.
Like
for sure.
So I guess just like creating my own space, like we have Chroma, like we're allowed to use it there all the time and like we love it there, but like you know it can get expensive. So I'd rather gain money and not lose money. So as anyone else would, but you know. But
that's and again, that's like super attainable goals. You know what I mean? Like I think that's the I think if you're able to, like, obviously you're a great photographer, like the music videos look great, right? So it's like you have the ability of what you need to do. And it's like, as long as you just slowly push yourself forward and like you're talented at what you do, I feel like you guys, like both of you guys, can go as far as you want. You know what I mean? Like you're not overextending yourself. You're both talented. You're both taking the time to put, you know, the effort, the energy, the money into what you're doing. And by doing that, like nothing's in your way. You know what I mean? Like I think like, and worrying about anything, there's no point. You know what I mean? Because you guys just have like, I don't say there's no point, but I think there's no point because like you got like, I don't know. It's just really awesome to see people who have like that passion and that effort and they want to put forward, you know, their best foot and do everything they can do. And like, I don't see anything stopping you guys from doing any of that. You know, it's just really cool to see that you guys are definitely progressing how you want. And, you know, I think you're taking your time. You're not trying to push something that's not there. And that's I think the biggest key to success for you guys is exactly what you're doing. So
No, thank you. I appreciate
really,
you.
really cool to see. So
And like to add to that too is like, you know, being the person who's involved with video a lot too, I do like to try to teach her a little bit about that too, just in case of like, you know, I need her to help me with my projects, and or if like she needs help, you know, if someone needs a second person on location for a music video, you know, she inspires me so much into like photography, where I'm like oh, I didn't think about that. And you know, sometimes I find myself humbled when I shoots and whatnot. And I'm like, oh, okay, you know, maybe I was overthinking something that was so simple. And you know, so and she basically helps me take a step back and breathe, like, you know, like stop overthinking it, just take the photo and just, you know, and then you don't need to like spend like an hour editing a photo. You could just, you know, really make it as simple as it could be, where like, not saying like the effort's not there, but it's also like, you know, you don't have to, you're putting too much detail into something that's not necessary. Like
exactly.
it depends on what you're taking the photo up to, exactly, you know.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
and you know, her pacing and her, you know, flexibility is definitely, we're different, of course. And like, you know, I think that's cool because we find each other teaching each other a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I've loved seeing your guys' work together and what you've gotten to create already in such a short time, and just seeing like different minds come together. Last week when we had Christy on, he says that he loves doing music videos like with a second person, everything, because it's the two different like thoughts coming together. It's like looking at your film, the way it's shot, versus like how the editing of Maddie's is done, like the flashing of the lights, the outlines, like all of it is different, but like what you can create together is something like that you wouldn't even think about.
Yeah. No, exactly. I feel like one person could say they could handle it, but like you realistically need two people, because like, you know, it's almost like everyone needs a second person when it comes to like doing things they like. You know, I never thought I would need someone like the wedding we did together. I thought like, oh, I could handle it, whatever. She literally took control of the whole thing. And I was like, she was doing things that I didn't think about doing. I was like, oh crap, I kind of would have fumbled this, to be honest. Like, it was really, you know, like I said, humbling, and, you know, really got me thinking I should have done more research, and I should have, well, I mainly took notes as well, because like, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, it can take a long time, especially with weddings. Like weddings are just so crazy. So it's like it's hard to think of everything, and most likely some issue is going to come up. It always does. You know what I mean? So it's like,
oh yeah,
it's definitely. I
there
think
was
that's
a shot. There was a
yeah.
shot we forgot to do, where we forgot to get the groom's reaction to the bride. But we made it work, because I still got him looking at her in the moment, like probably like a set like 10 seconds after. But like, you know, we made it work. You know, I was doing video for like during the vows and the kissing, and she got photos of that. So like I was able to capture the moment live, and she was able to capture it in photos. So it worked
Nice.
out.
Yeah.
Great team.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So that brings us to the end of our questions. At this point in the show, I like to just say a couple local shows that we have going on. So of course, this Saturday at Chroma Studios in Peabody, we have Maddie's Birthday Beatdown, which includes Devitalize, I Should Seek Help, Greylock, Fishface, Mortis, and Voluntary Victim. The show is at 7 p.m. Doors are 6:30. I remember you saying that parking is extremely limited, so please carpool if we can. And then up here in Manchester on Saturday at Bad Burger, we have TFR, The Graniteers, and FFO Chillin'. That show, doors are at 8 and noise is at 9.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. If you can make it out to either of those shows, guys, definitely try to do that. Sound like they're both going to be a fun time. So
we know where you guys will be.
Yep.
Oh, you know.
Yep.
There will be
That's
food.
awesome.
There's gonna be food. There's gonna be vendors. Yeah.
Chroma is beautiful.
That is
nice. That'll be fun.
Absolutely.
That'll be fun. Cool. Well, that's going to be the end of this episode. So thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate you coming on. It was an absolute blast to talk about all the stuff we got to talk about. Definitely hope we could see you guys at a show soon. I'll definitely, Maddie, definitely get ready to play a show up here in Maine. We're gonna make that happen. So I'll figure that out. We'll probably try to get Fishface too. Like you guys, Fishface, Death's Hand. We'll figure something out. I don't know. I'll see if I can plan something. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a blast. But yeah, that's it for this. That's it for this episode 7. Yeah, we'll be getting ready to do episode 8 here in the next week. But that's it for today. So thanks again, guys, for taking a listen. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day or night whenever you're watching this. And we'll catch you guys all later at another date. So see you later. Have a great night.
Have a good night.
See ya.
Restoration